Hi, I'm Nahin Ahmed, and today we are going to talk about how we can collect Sentinel-2 satellite images for Bangladesh. And what our main objective is to collect Sentinel images that cover the entire Bangladesh for the years 2017 to 2020. So that is 4 years: 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. So first what we do is we create a new repository to save our code. Now I assume that everyone who is watching is somewhat familiar with the basics of Google Earth Engine and the code editor. I have already created a repository and a file to work in. So I'll just open a new file to save in that repository so that I can show you. We're going to name the file main. Now if you come here, this is our main file. Now a few things that we want to do at first. We first want to go to the region that we are working with. This is Bangladesh here, and we are going to go, if you come to the right side window here, you'll see there are 3 tabs: tasks, console, and inspector. So when we use inspector, our mouse pointer turns into this plus symbol. When we come to console, we have a different symbol. So we will go to inspector and then click on the center, sort of the center of the point or the area that we want to zoom into. So let's say that Dhaka is the center of this area. Now we need these coordinates. These are the coordinates on the Earth's surface where this point lies. So we will now center our map. So let's say we run this code. If you're going to run this code, it's not going to move the map. See, so if you run it here, it'll just stay here. Whereas if we zoom out and we repeat, if we click here, you're going to get the coordinates. Now we write map dot set center, and then we copy and paste these coordinates here. Now we are telling Earth Engine to center the map at these coordinates, and then we give the zoom level, how much zoomed in you want to see the map. Of course we can change the zoom in level using the scroll button, but this is the default. So for now let's just set it to 7. See how even if we move it here now, let us save the script and turn console back on. Now even if you move it here, now when we run it, it's going to center and zoom the way you want it. Okay, so having said that, now we will get familiar with the images that we'll be working with. So we type in here, so this is a search bar for places and datasets. So let's type in Sentinel-2. If you see here, we have Sentinel-2 1C and Sentinel-2 MSI or multispectral instrument level 2A. Now the difference between level 1C and 2A, I'm going to show you. So the image on the left is our Sentinel level 1C image, and which is called the TOA or top of atmosphere image, and the level 2A image is our bottom of atmosphere image. As you'll see, this image is taken above the atmosphere, above the atmospheric particles that disrupt the image, and this image represents the processed image, which is the bottom of atmosphere image. So in this image, these atmospheric noises have been removed. So we will be working with level 2A of Sentinel-2 data. Now if we open this data, click on it, this data set, we can see the descriptions for this data, the sources, what different bands mean. Here we can see the band names, what they are called, the spatial resolution for each bands, the image properties like the cloud coverage assessment and cloudy pixel percentage. So we can use these image properties or metadata to search or filter our images. And then we have terms of use. Now we are going to import this data set into our script. Now when we click on import, you'll see that automatically an import is created here. And what it has done is it has created an import for the Sentinel-2 level 2A image collection. We are going to rename it as Sentinel-2. Okay. Now this object, this variable Sentinel-2 is a collection of all Sentinel-2 images. This is a very large file. You will not be able to display it or print it or work with it. So we need to filter it along with the constraints that we have. So firstly, we want images that are covered over Bangladesh like this. So before doing that, this is something that we need to understand. What is a tile and what is a granule? So let's look into this. Sentinel-2 granules and tiles. This figure is something that is particularly interesting. So as you can see, these white boxes are images that the satellite moves over the surface of the Earth and takes. So let's say it's moving in this direction and it's taking these images, and when it's going to revolve around the world and come back, it's going to start with the next column. So each image is called a granule, and I hope you realize they are slanted, and each tile is a rectangular grid which covers several granules. Now each Sentinel image in this collection, in our collection Sentinel-2, is a granule. And so I was just trying to explain what a granule is, and each granule has a unique ID. So every time the satellite is coming over and taking a picture of this region again and again, we are going to have the same granule ID. So what we are going to do now, the first thing is get an approximate shape file or get a geometry for Bangladesh. How can we do that in Google Earth Engine? We can go here, we can draw a shape, and it has started drawing a shape called geometry. So we are in the drawing mode. So we are going to keep clicking, and we are going to make this polygon, with this approximate polygon along the international boundary of Bangladesh. This does not have to be very accurate. This is not a labeling task. We are just doing this to make sure that we can find the correct images. Images that intersect with these points, or the area enclosed in these points. So we can even edit these polygons. Let's first just give exit. So we are done creating this polygon. Now we can edit these. Let's say we also want to include the marine area. So we can come and extend these waypoints out. Let's say we also want to include Saint Martin's Island. So we extend this out here. So we are done drawing this. Let's rename this geometry as BGD Geom. Alternatively, if you have your shapefile saved as an asset on Google Earth Engine, you can go ahead and import it. So I have Bangladesh International Boundary imported here, uploaded here as an asset. So I'm going to import that as well to show you in comparison. Let's call this BGD. Since this is already added to the map, we are now going to add this. What we do is map.add layer and then BGD. Or if you want to rename this layer, you have to give the empty visualization. We can also put a hex code here to give the color, but we are going to keep it black for now. Now if we run this code, if we give run, save this as well. See, this is our Bangladesh shapefile that I just imported, and so it's been added to the map twice. We can turn this off and then show you. This is the official boundary map for Bangladesh. Now, having had all of these, how do we continue? I'm just going to delete this for now because we don't need it right now, and we'll just make things more complicated, and we are just going to stick with this and use this. So let's just remove this line and rerun our code. Okay, now what we do is first we need to filter our collection of Sentinel-2 images according to this geometry or this polygon. Now what it means is it will only filter out the images that intersect over this polygon or this region. This gives us the images that are covering Bangladesh. So let's create a new variable and we call it spatial. By spatial I mean spatially filtered. So Sentinel-2 filter bounds, and then we give the name of the geometry using which we are filtering. So we are using BGD geom. Now, okay, so this creates, let's run this code. So this creates this variable which saves all these files. Now if you want to see the contents or how many images there are in this collection, this image collection, then we can print it out. See, image collection error, collection query aborted after accumulating over 5,000 elements. So this collection, so there are over 5,000 individual granules over Bangladesh, and we need to filter it even more so that it's smaller, because we cannot even print out the number of elements there are. The computation times out on Google Earth Engine. So we need to filter this even more. So let's create another variable. Let's call it, let's create this here. Since print spatial does not work, we are just going to remove this line, and we are going to go where temporal is equals to, now we are filtering spatial again, but now we are going to filter it using the date. Now, okay, so we are going to filter it using date, and we are going to, like I said, remember we have to look for images for 2017, 18, 19 and 20, and now ideally we want images from the winter months, because then there is very less clouds as there are no rains or storms covering the area. So for annual images we want to select images from the winter months. So let's say January, February, months like those. So now we are going to do filter the images for the year 2020. So we are going to filter and collect images for 2020. So we specify the date range, basically the start date and the end date for which we are searching. So let's say it's 2020 01, that is January, and 01. So 1st of January, and we are searching until which range? 2020 12. Let's say up till December, even though December isn't here, it's uh, December 31st. So this is the range that we are searching. So this is if we were searching for the entire year. But we, by the way, we are searching for just the winter months, right? So let's try searching in the winter months. So we are searching from the 1st of January 2020 to the 31st of January 2020. Let's print and see if there are enough, if there are still too many elements to print it out. See, there are 321 images for the January of 2020 over Bangladesh, and each image is 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer granule or tile. So you can imagine the amount of data we have being collected over Bangladesh. Now if we were to filter this down even more, because let's go here and see each image. So we have 321 images. So these are the individual images in the collection. So this is the ID, the image, the unique image ID, which tells us which image this is, and then we have properties. See, this pixel has a cloudy pixel percentage of 77%. So what this says is 77% of pixels are covered by clouds. So this image is practically useless for most applications. So we want to filter out these images from the collection furthermore. So let's filter them out. Let's filter out cloudy images. So var cloud filtered is equals to, now we are filtering temporal again using this function filter metadata. And what we do is, first, the first argument or parameter is which attribute. So these are the attributes: cloudy, pixel percentage, cloud coverage assessment, attributes or features that we are trying to filter using. So let's say we are filtering using cloudy pixel percentage, and then we want to find cloudy pixel images where the cloudy pixel percentage is less than 5%. Let's say we want that. So we want the less than operator, less than, and then let's say we want it less than 5%. Now if we print cloud filter, you know what, let's just put a few string identifiers here so that it's much easier to recognize in the console when we are printing it. Okay, so let's run this code. See how the number of elements is much less here. So there are just 110 images with less than 5% cloud coverage. So this is one major challenge that we'll keep facing, the problem of cloud cover. And also remember, we are taking images of January, which is considered one of the least cloudiest or weather disturbance prone month. Now let's go a bit lower. Let's go to less than 1%. Now we have even less, 87 images. Now say we wanted to see these images and we want to add these images to this map. How do we do that? So the way we do that is map.add layer, and now cloud filter. See, the issue here is that when we want to see an image, we want to visualize 3 bands, a red, green and a blue band, and we need to know which bands are the red, green and blue band, and we need to specify the visualization parameters for it. So I already have them saved here. They are available on Earth Engine visualization and documentations, but you can even easily figure them out yourselves. But I've already set them up here, so I'm just going to copy them from here. This is a separate file that I've been working on, which also works with Sentinel-2 images, and these are the visualization parameters. this is the main code that I was looking for adding an image collection to a map. Okay, so this is for us here is cloud filtered, and the rest is more or less after a few, and I'll explain everything. So this is our cloud filter, and what we're doing first is, see, these images are overlapping images, right? We have for the same region we have multiple images, one over each other, and because of this, some images, how do you say which pixel is at the top? So we take the mean of each pixel and all the layers below it. For each location we take the mean, and then we select the bands that we want to display, which is band 4, 3 and 2. And if you'll read the Sentinel documentation, you'll realize that the bands 4, 3 and 2 are the red, green and blue bands. So 4 here is I'm sorry, this is L2. Let's just look at the documentation here. If you go to bands here, so 4 is red, green, 3 is blue, B3 is blue, green, and B2 is blue. So red, green, blue, B4, B3, B2. So we are selecting those bands B4, B3, B2, and they are giving some visualization parameters. These parameters again I need to copy from this file. You can look at the documentation to understand what these mean, but I'm not going to go into those details in this video. To add them here. Now if you print this, or if you run this code, let's turn this off. See, these are all the images, so we can understand that this is a granule, right? This is a granule, or this is a granule, and these are the images covering Bangladesh. I'll show you the resolution of these images. As you can understand, the task is to label these images. To label these images, we first have to collect them and download them, and then label them, and then feed them into a model of some sort, into a computer vision model of some sort. And they have a variety of applications when we have labeled satellite images, because once again, for deep learning purposes and computer vision purposes, the more images we have, the better results we can get. And as you can see, we have, these are just the images for January. These are just the cloud-free images for January of 2020. And I am now going to show you the process of the hardest part of this entire process, which is the most labor-intensive part basically. Now, the problem here is that given an image or given a specific granule, we want to find the image which has the best quality of all others in the same granule. Now, in order to do this, what we want to do is we want to turn down this is fine. So what we want to do is we first want to come here and run this again. Now, so these are the unique tile IDs. If you'll see, this is the granule ID, and these are dates, the capture date and stuff like that. But for each granule, let's say there are 4 images here, one on top of each other, but all of them will end with the same granule ID. Now, these are all of the granule IDs that cover Bangladesh. The first thing that we need to do is we need to find all the unique elements of this list. Now, let's say that T45QID is a unique element. Now, we need to manually, let's say we are working with this, okay, let's say we're working with this, let's copy this let's come here. Okay, we are working with this granule ID. Now this how many images does this granule ID have? So if we copy this T45QYD and we look here, you'll find it here as well. See, so what we want to do is we want to add these images manually to the map. The problem with Google Earth Engine is you cannot turn off specific images in an image collection. So if you want to compare specific images in image collection, you have to take them out of the image collection as separate images and then add them to the map and then see. So this is the problem. So the first task is to, let's just take another line of code from here, which will save us a lot of time right now. So let's just name this as all granules, or the granule for this granule ID 2020-01, the first 001 represents, this code represents that this is the first granule of this ID that we are adding to the map. And now this e.image function creates the image. We just need to give it the identifier. So we are working with T45QID. Let's go to the first image with T45QID and copy its ID. We copy this pressing Ctrl C, or you can see copying here, and I'm going to replace this here with this T45QID image. I'm going to select the bands 4, 3 and 2, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the map. How about we use this as the string identifier for the layer as well? That will reduce confusion, and we can turn this is turned off. Let's run this. So see, when we add this image is the image here, and different images have different issues that do not show up in the metadata. That is the problem. So you might have, this might show up as 0%, like less than 1% cloud percentage, but you might find other issues like with the sensor data or salt and pepper noise and stuff like that. So let's add another image of the same ID. So this is another image, T45QID. And we're going to save this ID here. We're going to make a copy of what we did here and replace it. Replace the ID here. We don't need this. Control D to delete this line, and we have to update this, the second image. Okay. Alternatively, you could also name it using the date, like 2020. You can tell when it was taken. Like this is 2020 01 January 7th. It was taken on 2020 7th January of 2020. This was taken on 15th of January 2020. Like, is it 15? Yeah, it's 15. So 15 January 01 January and then 2020. Now when we run this, let's see, it's obviously going to show up down there, right? So let's turn off this image collection for now, since we are dealing with individual images. See how, so this is an image and this is also an image over the image, but the issue here is it's just a part of the image. Now you cannot just blindly trust Earth Engine to assume that it's giving you a full image. So there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of problems in the image searching and filtering system. It can give you metadata filtering, but in the end you have to manually add each image to the map layer to verify if it's good for using. So now you can understand that obviously the first choice was better than the second choice. Now what we have to do is complete this for T45QID, like add every single image from this list to the map and then assign a score between 0 and 10 about how usable each image is, and then repeat this process for every single unique granule ID, and therefore eventually you'll have to add all 87 images to the map for evaluation, and we will select, let's say, how many granules do you think will require to cover our whole study area. So this is the size, so let's say it's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, let's say 20, let's say something like 20. So we are going to end up with 20 to 25, let's say 25 images that are of the best quality with less than 1% cloud cover, that are also taken in the January of 2020. And using these images, I will next show you in the next video how to download these images once these images have been collected.